Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well and keeping cool this summer because I am absolutely melting here constantly. Oh my gosh. If you've never been to DC before, we get like the 1-2 punch of high temperatures and also big swamp humidity. Anytime you step outside, within 5 minutes, you are sweating. I've given up on doing my hair in any style besides keeping it away from my face. And in terms of makeup, I'm doing like bare minimum these days because I know as soon as I get outside, I'm immediately going to start sweating it off. So just do what lasts and forget the rest of it. You'd think I would be used to this after growing up in Hawaii, but I'm not. Anyway, so what are we doing this week? So this week I finished the refined sketches for the last 2 coloring pages in my summer collection. That means today we're going to take a look at that footage, have a little chit chat about it, and then the other thing I'm going to be talking about is this book. So I have been reading the Graphic Artists Guild Handbook on Ethics and Pricing, and it is a tome, but it's a good tome. I'm actually learning a lot. I've only read a little bit of it so far, so it's just going to be mostly like initial thoughts, but spoiler alert, I think it's great. That's the other thing that we're going to chat about this week. If that sounds interesting to you, I hope you'll stick around. I made my first version of this bi-weekly chit chat thing that we're doing now last time, and I really enjoyed that process, so I'm hoping to continue. And also in general, it just is doing a little bit better than my other videos, so I'm taking that as a good sign. And if you'd like to help me out and possibly get YouTube to push my videos out to more people, make sure to hit that like button down below and to subscribe. So just a really quick disclaimer here. I am making this video a little bit shorter than last time because I am working off a pretty big sleep deficit at this point. I am not sleeping well. I have not been sleeping well for at least a week and a half. And why am I not sleeping well? Because of this girl. That's right. Junie is keeping me awake at night. If you're new here and you've never seen her before, this is my dog Junie. She is a 4-year-old rescue and she is an anxious girl. She is on a couple of anxiety medications right now. She's taking fluoxetine, which is Prozac, and then gabapentin situationally, which has been going well. But in the last month and a half, we've realized that she's slowly regressing a little bit in terms of her nighttime anxiety. Nighttime is a big problem for her. Being home alone is another problem for her. And then she's also really sensitive to noises. Yeah, and when she's anxious at night, she'll do a couple of things. Usually, if it's mild, she will just come into the bedroom when we're getting ready for bed, and she will shake like a leaf, like a little nervous chihuahua, which I guess makes sense because she is 20% chihuahua according to the DNA test that we got done for her. So on brand. The other thing that she will do if she is feeling a lot more anxious, and that's been happening lately, even with her situational medicine to help her get to sleep at night, is she will come into the bedroom, get right up in my face in the bed, and then she will whine in my face. When it was really bad, she was doing that multiple times a night. Luckily, it seems like she just needs me to help her get to sleep initially, and then she will stay asleep, but it's still disturbing my rest. And so I am very tired. Things were mostly under control for a while, it had seemed. And then last week we had an incident. We do these training plans from our separation anxiety trainer for Junie, where we just leave the house. Sometimes there's a couple of warm-up steps just to get her ready and in the mindset of, hey, we're gonna leave the house. But this plan didn't have any of that. It was just a 30-minute plan. So I stepped out, I went down to the lobby after working all day, and I didn't check the weather before I left. And apparently there were storms predicted that hour. So I was like, oh my gosh, please let the storm just happen after I get back. Of course, I was not that lucky. And so what happened 20 minutes into the training? The sky opened up and the loudest crack of thunder I have ever heard shook the entire building. And I'm looking at this little camera of my tiny dog in my apartment, and she freaks out, understandably. It was loud. I jumped. I was like, oh my gosh. And since then, she has been having some trouble getting to sleep, even with her situational meds, which is not fun for her, and it's not fun for me. I am suffering. Hence, shorter video. Anyway, let's jump right in and take a look at the time lapse for the first sketch and do a little chit chat. You know, I don't think I've ever made a piece with flamingos, but I'm really liking it. I think this is just such a fun take on the family vacation concept that I was originally going for. I'm already thinking about the coloring guide, and I have had the inkling that maybe I would make them all different species of flamingos. But the only thing is, does that change the concept? Well, actually, maybe it's more like, oh, the baby flamingos were adopted. Would I like that? That's so cute. Okay, hold on. Wait. I did have to do some fiddling with the kiddos in the background because their heads ended up being right on the horizon line for the ocean. In general, too, I think they were just a little bit too close to the shore. I also made the one with the floaty's neck a little bit more wiggly just because the pose, when I started actually refining the sketch, it just looked a little bit too stiff. Then I cut out the cruise ship I had originally drawn in the far background because it made that little area too busy when there was already the yacht and the umbrella. And if there's anything that I'm looking to revisit again, it actually is probably just the yacht because those lines are not the clearest for moving into final lines. I was working off a reference really quickly and I think it just needs another pass. Moving on to my book, I have only read a good chunk of the first chapter. You know, it's dense and then it's also the pages are really big, right? So it's like reading a textbook. But I can already tell this is going to be so helpful with getting up to speed on our business topics I need to know and deciding which direction I want to take my practice career-wise. So it's great. It's so far so good. There have been moments here or there where my brain tells me I've heard a little bit about this or that in a class in college, but not to the same level of description that I'm getting here, which is nice because it seems like the things I learned in college classes for our business have stuck, and now with a little reminder, I can build on that knowledge. I've actually also already found a couple of tangible steps that I need to take from the sections of the first chapter I've already read. Stuff like making a business plan and then which business plan I should actually work on and when I could maybe shift to the other one. Researching to understand what my business fees will be based on tax forms and which tax forms to go to find that. That's super helpful. Figuring out what my different levels of rates should be for projects. Practical things that are important to know early and also simple enough to figure out if maybe a bit tedious because you have to look at bank statements. If there is anything that I enjoy the most in the world, it is definitely combing through bank statements. It is so practical to do it, but I really dislike doing it. I don't think anything about being an adult makes it more fun to look through your financial documents. Do you know what I mean? I also realized as I'm building out my portfolio that I need to keep track of how long it takes me to do the different steps of my process, because that's going to help me later on when I'm figuring out what pricing rates should be if I ever end up with a project where I need to provide steps and rates of how long it should take me to do stuff, from ideating to sketches to inks to finals. I have no idea actually how long it takes me to do these things. I have like a rough idea usually, but often I'm a little bit off the mark, so it'll be good to know more accurately in case I'm talking to someone. Okay, let's move on to the next time lapse. So this one needed the most fiddling out of all of the designs in terms of placement. The original thumbnail was too empty for my taste, so I wanted to squish things in a bit more to increase the visual interest of the whole design. Originally, I was going to keep it to just tropical fruits, but berries make such good space fillers that I actually couldn't help putting in like raspberries and blackberries, although they look the same when you sketch them out. Am I wrong? I mean, I can't tell which one is a blackberry and a raspberry. I'm just gonna color them differently. And there's blueberries in there, along with what was the original tropical fruit that's small, which was the acai. I did think about adding faces to everything, but I think I like it better this way. I know that not everything needs to have a cute little face. I know, okay? I know, but I like doing it, so maybe next time. Personally, I think the border looks a lot better with just the scalloping rather than the scalloping and sort of the bead design that I was going for. It was a fun idea, but as I was trying to add the beaded border, I wasn't really feeling it anymore, and I think leaving it out left a lot more room for fruit, which is what I wanted. I think if I'd kept the beads, I just wouldn't have had the same amount of room and it would look kind of eh. Sometimes the simplest designs end up taking a lot more finesse than I think people realize, because with more complicated designs, anything that's wonky can be hidden under all the details if you're counting on people to not really look super closely. But when it's simple, that's not the case. So we can't hide behind how complex we make things here. All of your mistakes are they're just there, straight up in everybody's faces. Back to the book. As an initial review, as in I'm almost done with the first chapter, I think that this is a great resource so far. If you do pick this up, I would recommend taking it in small chunks. So like read a little, take some notes, and then once your brain stops absorbing the information as well and it feels a bit tired, put it away. Come back to it the next day. The smaller digestible chunks will make it easier to retain important details and actually engage with the text rather than binging it to be done as soon as possible. I'd also recommend reviewing any notes you took before each reading reading session just as a refresher, but also to add any thoughts that you may have had while you were away from it. There are definitely some parts I had to read multiple times over and over trying to understand what it meant. I'm like a little bit embarrassed about how long I spend rereading the same section to understand certain bits. But we got there. It was fine. I'm planning to keep updating you guys as I continue reading the book, but I also thought it would be fun to give like an initial thoughts since I've like just started reading the beginning, and I feel like the fact that it's gripping from the beginning is good. You know, like that's a good sign for a reference. Honestly, it almost feels like I'm taking a self-guided college course at the moment with reading this book, and in some ways I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this way better now at 29 than I ever could have done at like 2021. That's all. That's it for this week. We're at the outro already. I know it's crazy, right? It's like so short, but you know, I really need to sleep and I cannot handle making a long video right now. So this is what we got. At least it's like Junie is keeping me up for an extra half an hour rather than Junie is waking me up at 11:30 and 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. every day. Like we were talking about what that was like before she was on anxiety medication. We're like, oh my God, we're so glad that it's not that bad. I was so sleep deprived that the vet took like one look at me and she was like, oh no. Yeah, oh my gosh, that was a time. This is way better than that. I hope you enjoyed seeing a quick peek into more of my process and finishing out the sketches for the next collection. Next time we're gonna be working on final lines. That will probably involve a little bit of fiddling too off of the sketches. I feel like every time I do another step in the process, there's just a little bit of revisions that happen. So each step ends up with the piece looking a little bit different than I think we all imagine it will look in the end. You know what I mean? It's fun. It's a fun time. And also the color guide, which to be honest, that is the thing that I am the most excited about. It's just anytime I get to color, that's my favorite thing. So the line work is fun too, and it's honestly probably the more important thing, but I also get to make color guides when the lines are done. Again, if you'd like to support me, make sure to hit that like button and then also subscribe. I'm here every 2 weeks on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you're looking for something fun and creative to do in your free time, I have a whole coloring page collection already set and ready to go up on my Etsy shop. There's 5 pages in digital and print formats for however you like to color, and they're spring themed. There's ducks in there, there's different kinds of pollinators, I drew some deer. It's a great time. I have taken a couple of them to final render myself and really enjoyed that process. It's great. So can confirm, at least for me, personal testimony, I think the designs are fun to color. That's just me. The link to my Etsy shop is going to be in the description of this video, and then it's always also available on my channel page, so you can find the link there as well. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys. I'm so tired. Oh my God, I need to sleep so bad. I just want one night of uninterrupted sleep. That would be great. It's crazy that my dream right now is like, I just want to go to bed and stay in bed.